In the headlines, ASUU federal government meeting ends in deadlock as strike continues. 30 children, 144 Libya returnees arrive Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. 18-year-old student arrested over attempt to kidnap provost. National Union of Electricity Employees shut down Transmission Company of Nigeria regional station in Kaduna. North Korea fires cruise missile as US and South Korea prepare for drills. Hello and welcome to News Update on Trust Television. I am Nten Ekbang. And on the news in full, Tuesday's meeting between the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and the federal government has again ended without any agreement. This means the 6-month-old strike by public university lecturers will continue. The striking lecturers had met with the Professor Nimi Briggs Committee on Tuesday at the National University Commission in Abuja with high hopes of resolving the impasse. A senior member of ASUU who craved anonymity said members of the Briggs Renegotiation Committee did not come with any new offer on the table. Instead, the ASUU source said the committee pleaded with the lecturers to suspend the ongoing strike, with promises that their concerns will be included in the 2023 budget. Police operatives have foiled a terrorist attack on Tatawa and Barkia villages in Kurfi local government area of Katsina State. A large number of the terrorists were put down in an exchange of gunfire in the early hours of Monday morning. Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi now reports.
About 80 terrorists riding on motorcycles attacked the two farming communities on Sunday night. They had rustled 75 sheep, 40 goats, and 4 cows before they ran into the police. The animals were recovered after the police had engaged the terrorists in a heavy gun battle. The recovered animals were handed over to their rightful owners on Monday morning at the Kurfi local government divisional police headquarters. These people from the affected communities hail the police in Kurfi and Katsina for their tireless efforts in taming the scourge of terrorism. The terrorists rustled my remaining sheep after dispossessing me of all I have, but as God would have it, they were intercepted by DPO Kurfi and his men. I am very grateful. All of them have been returned to me. The terrorists came around 1 a.m. this Monday. That time we were awake and vigilant. We mobilized and called the DPO and his men. When they arrived, we confronted the terrorists and we succeeded. Local authorities are promising that the government will continue working closely with security operatives to confront the terrorists until they are defeated. They, however, admitted that there are communities in Kurfi local government that were forced out of this year's farming activities due to insecurity.
In Kurhibi, we have Mujin Fulani and Mujin Arna. Also in Sauri B, we have some villages very near or very close to Gwanzu. Then if we move to Sauri A, we have Hakau. Also in Sauri B, there is Sonu, where the council leader belongs to. So these are the only areas that we are facing this kind of problem that you asked.
Confirming the incidents, the police public relations officer, Katsina State Command SP Gambo Isa, suggested the best option for the fight against terrorism.
Do more. We need to do more. It's high time we organize our communities. We re-strategize. But not everything on police, everything on the military. You, as a member of the community, what effort are you making in ensuring that your community is safe? You have a responsibility and you must look for that responsibility.
Many communities bedeviled by insecurity are now re-strategizing to work with security operatives and other stakeholders to confront the terrorists, saying they are tired of killings, abductions and assaults. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Detectives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, the NSCDC, in Niger State have arrested an 18-year-old student of the College of Fisheries Technology, New Busa, Borgu local government area of Niger State, Omar Imam, for allegedly threatening to kidnap the provost and other staff of the college. The suspect was alleged to have written a letter threatening to kidnap the provost and some staff of the college before he was detected and apprehended. The Public Relations Officer of Niger State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nasir Abdullahi, said the suspect was arrested after the commandant of the command, Dandere, received the information and directed men of the Intelligence and Investigation Unit to get him arrested. He said the suspect, who hailed from Gonagi village in Edati local government area of Niger State, was apprehended in the school and had confessed to the crime, but his accomplice, one Umar Babadoko, was still at large. Freed victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack need to go through therapy sessions due to the trauma they experienced while in captivity. A consultant at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Kaduna, Joyce Osegale, made a disclosure in Kaduna. The report.
Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster, among others. Trauma comes immediately after such event and may have longer-term reactions like flashbacks disorder. Victims of Kaduna-Abuja train attack who have gone through terrifying events of being abducted and held in captivity for months need special counseling. Dr. Joyce said the terrifying experience will have a negative effect on them, especially the children who may have a longer-term effect disorder as they grow older.
The main symptoms that they would have would be what we refer to as like flashback. So they keep reliving the experience as if it's just happening again. You understand? They just find that it's something they can't control. So they just find it re-happening. For some of them, they may have nightmares. So at night they sleep and they just have dreams of the whole event all over again or something worse than what has happened.
According to Dr. Osagale, the trauma they vividly experience may also expose them to different forms of mental illness in the future.
Those children are likely to come down with the disorder before they grow older. Now, in terms of the long-term effect, because of the incidents that they have witnessed, that is like a stressor on its own. So it may predispose them to having a mental illness in later life. Maybe they could have difficulties with coping, they could have depression, and then if they face another life event, that could also serve as a trigger.
The doctor outlined some simple strategies of managing stress, anxiety, and trauma.
The best option would be to seek professional advice by seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or just discussing with even a medical doctor. The other thing that we can do to support them is to have some sort of therapy, like a follow-up.
She said relatives of these victims who experience the same trauma may also need to undergo a form of counseling to manage stress and anxiety for their sanity and mental stability. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Another batch of 174 returnees from Libya has arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. The arrival on Tuesday was the 12th flight of returnees to be repatriated through the Lagos airport, with about 2,044 Nigerians so far already returned. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, who was represented by the Lagos Territorial Office Coordinator Ibrahim Farin Loye, received the new badge alongside other officials of the federal government. The returnees, 69 female adult, 5 female children and 10 female infants, while there were 75 male adults, 12 male children and 3 male infants. NEMA said 23 arrived with minor medical cases. The suspended General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Joyce Odua, has filed a suit at the Federal High Court Abuja against the association, its National Executive Council, and the Inspector General of Police. In the suit filed by her counsel Murtala Abdul Rashid SAN, Odua is challenging her suspension from office after an emergency meeting by the National Executive Committee on Monday, 15th August 2022. She claimed that her purported suspension as the General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association pursuant to the resolution of the emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the NBA held on August 15 is unconstitutional, null, void, and of no effect whatsoever. This, she said, is because the suspension violates Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic as amended, Sections 239, 242 and 288 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Constitution of the Nigerian Bar Association 2015 as amended in 2021. The Catholic Archbishop of Jos Archdiocese, the Most Reverend Matthew Ishaya Audu, says he has accepted the apology tendered to the Catholic Church by Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State on his reference to the Pope, while recently talking about his appointment as the Director General of the All Progressives Congress APC presidential campaign. Lalong had said the Pope was not opposed to his appointment as the DG of the campaign. These assertions angered members of the Catholic faith who were displeased with the dragging of the name of the Pope into Nigerian politics. But the governor thereafter tendered an apology to the Catholic for his remark. Now, in spite of this, some sections of the church have been giving different conditions for the acceptance of the apology. Bishop Audu, however, accepted Lalong's apology on Tuesday in his homily at the 19th General Assembly of the Archdiocese of Jos, held at the St. Louis Parish in Jos. You're watching the news update coming to you live from Trust TV. Coming up after the break, let's find out how indigenous are the FCT inhabitants. To stay with us.
Which kind wire you gon' need to light up your light? Oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind cable you gon' need to light up your house? Oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. Coleman cable. Coleman can't. Coleman cable for any kind of project. Come and be the come and see, come and see. Come and be the Coleman won't light up your light. Come and be the come and see. Come and be the C-O-L-E-M-A-N. Quality, quality. Durable. Now come and be the Baba.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching the News Update live on Trust Television. And now let's remind you of our top stories so far. ASUU federal government meeting ends in deadlock as strike continues. An 18-year-old student arrested over attempt to kidnap provost of College of Education. Moving forward, the recent flood in Jigawa State that killed 50 people has left in its wake devastation among survivors who are taking refuge elsewhere. Salim Umar Ibrahim, who visits Balangu village in the Kafin Hausa local government area of Jigawa State, reports on the situation, and his report is here presented.
The disaster, which affected many parts of the state, was felt more by the people of Kafin Hausa local government area, especially those in Balangu town and neighboring villages. Balangu town itself has so far recorded no fewer than 20 deaths, with more than 300 households displaced.
It is actually disheartening that this unfortunate incident is happening at this time. This is not the first time this is happening, which is very, very sad. And over 300 houses have been submerged by flood, making it difficult for people to stay in their houses. The rivers are situated in the middle of the town, and anytime it rains, it always results to flood.
Residents who were abruptly sent out of their homes are now taking refuge in government-owned school buildings.
Our houses have been submerged by flood, and we are calling on the government and well-to-do individuals to come to our aid and rescue the situation.
The displaced persons are now sleeping on mats with no provision of mattresses yet by the state government. Many of them also said they depend on donation of food from residents to survive.
We have never witnessed this kind of flood in our lives. Everywhere is water that has forced us to leave our houses with our wives and children.
However, the Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, has said the agency is working round the clock to identify and access affected areas in an effort to provide relief materials.
Hundreds of residents in Guru, local government area of Yobe State, are forced out of their residences following a flash flood that took over the entire Zangong Kanwa area of the town, destroying main businesses. Trust TV's Idris Jibin reports that residents say they no longer feel safe due to increasing threat of building collapse as a resort to using local boats to access their homes.
Houses abandoned, businesses destroyed, and residents attempting to salvage what remains of their property around Zangwang Kanwa, Unguru local government area of Yobe State.
Honestly, this water is disturbing us. It has been disturbing us. Not only us, anybody that is passing through this road, this water remains a problem. In fact, even the mosque that we used to pray, we can't pray in that mosque any longer. Our parents have left their homes. They are also gone. And we have been complaining to the authorities. The local government chairman was here to see this place. Even the commissioner was here to see this place. But up till now, nothing has been done.
Following a recent downpour, residents say a flash flood overpowered their drainage system, leaving many homeless around this area. Over the last 30 years, Zangwang Kanwa area has been experiencing flash flood due to the lack of drainage system. Despite the community's repeated complaint to local government authorities, every year they had to deploy local boats as means to cross over from one part of these streets to the other.
For me, I'm living in this area. I'm doing my business in this area. And this water has remained a problem for us. Each time, each rainy season, this is how we stay. We leave our business, we leave our houses, we leave everything around here. And nothing is being done to help us. Right now, as I'm talking to you, most of our families, some of them are at the filling station, some of them are at the mosque, and many of them, we have sent them to their relatives because we don't have a place to keep them.
Meanwhile, chairman of Ungru local government area confirmed that efforts are ongoing to assist the affected victims and ensure that everyone returns back to their homes.
We
have been working on drainage system across Guru local government, and as I am talking to you now, His Excellency the Governor has sent a special committee to come and investigate the recent flood and provide a permanent solution. We are providing relief materials to anybody that is affected by the flood. In fact, 2 trucks of relief materials have already arrived, Guru, from Damaturu, and we are waiting for the rest to come. Then we start distributing them to all the affected victims.
Well, this is not a bush, neither an outskirt of a town. It is at the heart of Guru local government area of Yobe State. And residents say they can no longer access their homes. Everywhere is covered and it's overpowered by water. But they are waiting for authorities to come to their aid so that this water can go away. And while they wait, their suffering may likely continue to increase. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Yobe.
Now, the Federal Capital Territory, before it became the nation's capital city, was once the home of some few thousands of people who, after the relocation of the nation's capital to Abuja, still struggle with resettlement and identifying with a new home state. In this report, Trust TV's Sage Ibrahim spoke with some stakeholders who have expressed concerns over the worrying situation of the original inhabitants of Abuja.
These are a cultural display of some of the different tribes who previously occupied the Federal Capital Territory. They are also known as the original inhabitants of the FCT. The city was formerly inhabited by 9 ethnic groups, namely Amwamwa, Basa, Igbira, Gade, Gana, Bagi, Bari, Gwandara, and Kuro. Following the creation of the Abuja Master Plan, the original inhabitants were to be resettled within and outside the Federal Capital Territory, but according to experts, not all of them have found a new place to call home.
Their matter is still unresolved. Many years after they gave out their land for Abuja capital, today the original inhabitants are stateless. They don't have state they can call their own. If they go to school to register, when they feel FCT, they will tell them there is no state like FCT. They either feel Nasarawa or Niger State.
From the 36 states on the Federal Executive Council, and there's not one person from the geographical location called the FCT. It's important that when people sit around a table and you have somebody who understands, that's why they say he or she who wears a shoe knows where it pinches.
They also expressed concerns over the living conditions of some of these original inhabitants, which they described as poor.
Go and see what they say they built around Niger State. Go and see the place. It's not even fit for pigs, not to talk about human beings. Those are the places they want original inhabitants to go to. Are they forbidden to enjoy what they are enjoying in Abuja city center? It is high time they listen to the original inhabitants. The place where Aso Rock is built today, the National Assembly, is cemetery of where some people bury their loved ones.
When you go to certain communities like Godoji community that is in Kuje, for instance, basic water they don't have. We visited the Godoji community, and the source of water they have is a pond. And let me shock you that source of water, where that water is, has been given to somebody, sold to somebody, and the person is right now in the process of fencing it off. As soon as that water is fenced off, it means that the people in Godoji community may not have access to even that pond water to drink.
They also called on the public to join hands towards amplifying the challenges facing these inhabitants for government and well-meaning Nigerians and other individuals and organizations to intervene. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
Members of the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE, have withdrawn their services at the Kaduna Regional Headquarters of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in line with the directive of the National Union leadership. The TCN Kaduna Regional Station covers 4 northwestern states of Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara. On Wednesday, NUEE officials picketed the Mando TCN station in the Kaduna State capital, shutting down operations and thereafter forcing workers out of the company's premises before locking the gate with their own key. The electricity union is protesting the non-payment of outstanding arrears owed to former workers of the defunct Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, suspension of condition of service and career path for workers, and the directive by the TCN board to conduct promotion interviews for acting principal managers who are moving to assistant general managers. On the foreign scene, North Korea fired 2 cruise missiles from the west coast town of Oncheon early on Wednesday, a South Korean military source said, without giving details such as the missile's range or altitude. The launches come as South Korea and United States kicked off their 4-day preliminary joint drill on Tuesday in preparation for the long-suspended live field training Ulchi Freedom Shield, which takes place from August 22 to September 1. Meanwhile, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol on Wednesday said he is willing to provide phased economic aid to North Korea if it ended nuclear weapons development and began denuclearization, as he took questions during his first conference to mark 100 days in office. And with that story, we end news update this hour. For more, to connect with us on all our social media platforms. I am Nten Epang. Thanks for watching and see you in the next hour.